Well, that's later in the show. Right now, we have got a very special showcase match featuring three of the hottest cruiserweight talents in the UK today. The following contest is scheduled for one fall, and it is a triple threat match. Introducing the first of our three competitors.
Thank you very much to a magnificent, magical Martin Rowe, the GM and announcer here at RIZEN Pro Wrestling. I'm Aaron Nix. Ladies and gentlemen, Paul Field is about to take charge of a triple threat cruiserweight matchup. This is going to be fast, frantic, frenetic, and oh so delicious for our hand-worthy audience. Just 18 years old, this young man looks to have one of the most promising futures in all of British and worldwide professional wrestling, already making waves wherever he goes. The aerial all-star Jimmy Swift, I know him all too well from our time at ASW South, and Jimmy Swift has all the tools, all the young charisma and energy to be one of the very best in the game. Ladies and gentlemen, if you haven't seen Jimmy Swift before, are in for a treat. This is going to be an exhibition.
And now, competitor number 2.
Human highlight reel that is, of course, Jimmy Swift will have very game competition because one of his opponents making his way to the ring is a former RIZEN Pro Wrestling heavyweight champion, very well known to everyone here at RIZEN, I am sure, but just in case you have been living under a rock, this man is the personification of technical excellence. Like flexing pitbull unless you're able to pop the hips and suplex pretty much anybody in the game. I've seen this man hit that vaunted German on everybody he could possibly get the butcher's grip on. Benjamin Stone is technical excellence personified, but he's got the power to boot, and very much the most powerful man in this matchup. The fact that he's a cruiserweight beggars belief, because this man's put on some mass. He is in whopper condition and ready to go with this triple threat.
Now it's time for wrestler number 3.
Well, what I love about this triple threat matchup, ladies and gentlemen, is it brings an entirely different flavour to the cruiserweight division. We have arguably the best high flyer in the game today, Jimmy Swift, arguably the best suplex and technical transitionist in Benjamin Stone, and now we have this man. The hot rod Dan Rodman, as bad attitudes come, ladies and gentlemen. This man is an absolute menace to society. You can see him already jaw-jacking with the audience. Dan Rodman never saw a fight that he didn't like, that he didn't want to participate in. The hot rod Dan Rodman looks fooled by all this bravado. This man hits real hard, a former semi-professional boxer, ladies and gentlemen. So this man knows how to strike better than anybody else in the game, particularly in this matchup. And Jimmy Swift looking to go Dan Rodman into a fight early doors. Paul Field is going to have his hands full. Triple threat cruiserweight action on tap here at RIZEN Pro Wrestling. This is going to be naughty.
There will be no countouts and no disqualifications. The first wrestler to score a pinfall or a submission will be declared the winner.
Well, this is going to be very interesting because obviously the cruiserweight division is hotting up quite nicely in RIZEN. And of course, 3 all-star talents with an all-star mindset, and it's going to be raw athleticism, raw technical power, and raw aggression, all in equal measure. Already, Dan Rodman, the bell has rung. triple threat action, and of course, as Magic Martin Rowe pointed out, triple threat rules means no disqualifications. And the crowd are hot for this one. And a handshake, a little bit of respect. Oh, I don't think Dan Rodman appreciates that. Knife edge chops with ferocity to Jimmy Swift and Benjamin Stone, and Dan Rodman gets one of his own, courtesy from both individuals. And now Benjamin Stone and Jimmy Swift looking to form a momentary alliance, I'm sure, in this triple threat matchup to dispose of Dan Rodman. Double drop kick sends the hot rod scarpering to the outside. And of course, triple threat rules means that you don't have to factor into the decision of whether you win or lose the matchup, ladies and gentlemen. So you got to have eyes in the back of your head. It's very smart from Jimmy Swift and Benjamin Stone, using that mental acumen, recognizing that if they can boil it down to a one-on-one, a far better, far cleaner opportunity to pick up a win. Here we go. Benjamin Stone and Jimmy Swift, knuckle lock applied, and obviously Benjamin Stone no doubt going to have the advantage when it comes to technical professional wrestling against the likes of Jimmy Swift, who's given up the most size and power in this matchup, but he brings agility and athleticism like no other, as you're about to see. Lovely escape there, sweeps out the legs. And Jimmy Swift able to counter and offers his hand once again. A little Morpheus action there from Jimmy Swift. A heavy following for both of these men, and understandably so. Well known, of course, to the Risen Pro Wrestling faithful. Dan Rodman not so much. And now like the sunset flip, and Jimmy Swift rolls up Benjamin Stone, able to counter at one. Kick, roll through once again. Schoolboy attempt by Jimmy Swift, and Benjamin Stone getting caught, courtesy of the speed advantage of Jimmy Swift, who's now up to the top rope and snaps off a beautiful Hurricane Runner, and that's what Jimmy Swift is all about. Pace personified. Dan Rodman back in the ring and catches Jimmy Swift flush with a back elbow, and that's what I said about triple threat. Got to have eyes in the back of your head. Exploder suplex from Dan Rodman. Pops the hips beautifully. Pinning combination, 2 count only, as Benjamin Stone able to break up the pinfall. And once again, you're going to hear it ad nauseum, but it's triple threat rules. You've got to have eyes in the back of your head. You've got to be so wary of where the other man in the equation is. Collar and elbow tie up now, wrist lock control, and Dan Rodman fancies himself a technician against Benjamin Stone, who rolls through. Lovely regal escape there, knotting up the left arm of Dan Rodman. And that's what Benjamin Stone does. Honestly, this man can find room in a phone box. Looking for a magistral cradle. Wraps up Dan Rodman quite nicely, and Rodman able to escape at just one. An elbow tie up once again and taken down to the floor. Again, wrist lock control, so crucial for a wrestler the likes of Benjamin Stone. Now, just look at the awkward angle that left arm is being contorted in. And now just using those knuckles from classic European wrestling on display here by the flexing Pitbull. I see Jimmy Swift on the outside looking a little worse for wear. After that cheap shot, some might point out, from Dan Rodman, but it is no rules at the end of the day. Oh my God, it is pretzel time. How do you like your baked goods? Dan Rodman being stretched all over the place, but an enziguri from Jimmy Swift breaks that up, making sure Dan Rodman doesn't have the opportunity to tap out. Kick to the midsection. Maybe looking for sliced bread. Dan Rodman counters, and Jimmy Swift put the brakes on, and now Rodman, with the ropes being pulled down, gets sent back to the outside. Now, apparently, according to Dan Rodman, I don't know if you might have picked that up, but the Hot Rods seem to have taken quite a disposition, and now a lovely tope wipes out Dan Rodman. Jimmy Swift flies to the outside relative ease, and a PK right to the face of Benjamin Stone. Got caught flush with that kick, did Benjamin Stone, and now Dan Rodman looking to run for the rafters, trying to escape. He's running away from Jimmy Swift, ladies and gentlemen. I don't think Dan Rodman wants anything to do with Jimmy Swift in a fair fight. I was back into the ring. Jimmy Swift looking to give chase. I think Dan Rodman thinks he's got rid of him, and oh, careful now. Oh boy, and Dan Rodman caught between an all-star rock and a hard place, and now I think Benjamin Stone and Jimmy Swift not taking too kindly to Dan Rodman's antics and looking to tee off. Rodman puts the brakes on European uppercut to Benjamin Stone and catches Jimmy Swift on the ropes, and now looking to slingshot him back into the ring, using the rope's momentum to just bring Jimmy Swift in the hard way. Dan Rodman takes and kicks in the midsection, potentially looking for a stunner, and oh, look out, Benjamin Stone kicks in the midsection of his own, and now a reverberation, dual stunners, chain reaction effect, pinfall attempt. Dan Rodman kicks out, pinfall attempt to Jimmy Swift now as well, very wise from Benjamin Stone. Spoiled for choice there with a pinfall combination, but both Dan Rodman and Jimmy Swift able to kick out before the 3 count. But it's Benjamin Stone, the Plexing Pitbull, the former RIZEN Pro Wrestling Heavyweight Champion, who is currently in the ascendancy. Looking potentially, I think, to powerbomb Jimmy Swift, has him up on his shoulders, but Jimmy Swift able to escape as he does so often. Russian leg sweep applied, but that's countered as well by Benjamin Stone. Now the suplex position with the front face lock, turns him around. Reverse headlock, oh, beautifully applied reverse suplex, and now Jimmy Swift inadvertently almost got the pinfall as he was suplexed onto Dan Rodman. Completely unaware, I'm sure, but Jimmy Swift almost picked up the win courtesy of the assist of Benjamin Stone, and now Stone knotting up those legs. I think might be looking for a variation of the Indian Deathlock. Dan Rodman recognises this and he's trying to fire from underneath, and a rake to the eyes by Dan Rodman. Hey, triple threat, no rules, no disqualification, can do as he pleases. Jimmy Swift up to the top rope. Benjamin Stone looking to regain his momentum. Beautiful front flick, lands on his feet, rolls through, super kick, fake out, and an enziguri to the face by Jimmy Swift catches Benjamin Stone flush. This is the vaunted nature of a triple threat when one man's in the ascendancy. Oh, look out. Dan Rodman puts the brakes on and sweeps Swifty out. I think Swifty was looking for a handspring back elbow potentially. And now a back suplex onto the hardest part of the ring by Dan Rodman. Ugly but effective offense as he rolls back into the ring. And will no doubt be looking to take full advantage of this one-on-one opportunity with Benjamin Stone. And a step German suplex by the Plexing Pitbull, living up to his moniker. And poor old Rodman is going to be in serious trouble here. Going back to the submission is Benjamin Stone. A lovely inverted variation of the Indian Deathlock there. Look at the legs. Grapevine wrapped up like a pretzel, as I mentioned. But Dan Rodman is in extreme trouble. The submission game, as I mentioned, of course, of Benjamin Stone, the technical assassin himself. And oh man, and Jimmy Swift putting the brakes on there. I think Dan Rodman was about to tap out, but now Jimmy Swift dropping the leg across the arm, trying to force Dan Rodman into any position where he can't tap out. And now a cave-in from Jimmy Swift right on the chest of Benjamin Stone, and that is going to leave a mark like no other, ladies and gentlemen. Man, high-octane offense from the aerial all-star himself, Jimmy Swift, looking to build up a head of steam. Is he looking to tune out the band potentially? Trying to get these fans involved as he hits him with a stinger splash and a lovely enziguri right to the chin. And man, he has got Benjamin Stone rocking and rolling. Irish whip out of the corner. Benjamin Stone with the reversal sends Jimmy Swift into the opposite corner, and now building up a head of steam. I think he might be looking for a monkey flip potentially, but Jimmy Swift gets a punch for his troubles, and now Benjamin Stone looking to ascend to the top rope, taking his sweet time in doing so. And meanwhile, Jimmy Swift catches him flush with an enziguri to the face, and I think a superplex might be coming. And meanwhile, a superplex attempt is being denied and is blocked rather astutely by Benjamin Stone. Meanwhile, Dan Rodman has found his faculties and is back in the ring, looking to do some serious damage here with a superplex of his own off the top rope. Dan Rodman has Benjamin Stone perched, and Stone are trying to fight out of this one as well, ladies and gentlemen. The former RIZEN champion, look out, Jimmy Swift behind Dan Rodman, and a Tower of Doom comes crashing down. Benjamin Stone got the worst of it at the top of the chain, and now, oh man, still able to kick out from the cover from Jimmy Swift, and Jimmy Swift now looking to cover Dan Rodman. Is that going to be enough? And Dan Rodman escapes as well, and Jimmy Swift 2 pinfall attempts, nothing doing. Meanwhile, Jimmy Swift says, you know what? It's time to ascend to the heavens. And if he hits this, ladies and gentlemen, it could very well be over. He's looking potentially for that 450 finish. Yes, indeed, Jimmy Swift ascends to the heavens. Jimmy Swift is perched on the top rope. Oh, gee, 25 crashing down. Oh, look out, pinfall attempt, and Dan Rodman just dispatches Jimmy Swift, and I think he's looking to take full advantage of Jimmy Swift's handiwork. His feet are on the ropes as well for good measure, and Dan Rodman has stolen one right here in Hamworthy.